So thanks to those of you who are attending, and welcome to the Parents Voices webinar hosted by Fountain Valley School of Colorado. We are thrilled to have you join us this evening. Fountain Valley is a very unique institution, being a boarding day and international school in Colorado Springs. For those of you who are here, maybe for the first time hearing about us, we are about 220 students from all over the world. Right now, we're representing 20 different countries, 26 different states. That fluctuates a little bit, but we are definitely unique and offer a blend of a lot of different experiences. Our campus, nestled here in the Rocky Mountains, obviously creates a lot of those experiences and makes a big difference. You can't change location. That's what everyone always says about buying a house. You can't change location. So it's a stunning backdrop for a transformative educational journey. Tonight, we're excited to bring you firsthand insights from some of our most valued community members, from our parents. And that's who you really want to hear from. Yeah, I'm Alex Winokur. I'm the director of enrollment. You hear from enrollment people, you hear from admissions, but really what you want to hear from are the parents who have gone through the experiences with their children. So they'll share some personal insights, their experiences and stories about life at Fountain Valley, highlighting what makes our school special. You'll hear about, academics, extracurriculars, the vibrant community that really shapes our lives. And our panelists will discuss, why their family chose FVS, why they continue to stay, and how their children have grown during their time here. They'll also touch on little things like college selection process and offer advice, probably most importantly for you incoming families or potential incoming families. So this is a great opportunity to gain a deeper insight of the Fountain Valley experience through the eyes of those who have lived it and are living it right now. So again, thanks for joining us. As you come up with questions, feel free to put them in the chat, put them in the Q&A. I'll kind of monitor it and be answering as we go along. But so right now we have two parents here. I'm trying to get one more in the room. So I'm going to be doing some back end work. But while I do that, I'm going to let them introduce themselves. So why don't we start with Burton? Just tell us a little bit about yourself, your experience at FES. Yours is obviously a little bit more robust and longer term than a lot of people's too.
Yeah, thank you. My name's Burton McLucas. I was fortunate enough to attend Fountain Valley School and graduated in 1987. My parents were teachers on campus, so I actually lived on the campus from 1977 to 87. I'm a class agent for the school. I've been the class agent for 38 years. And now I have a daughter and a stepdaughter who are attending the school. And I'm also the president of the Parents Association. So I'm very pro Fountain Valley, and Fountain Valley really was instrumental for me and my life and my formation. And I have many friends from Fountain Valley that I stay in touch with who are close to me even to this day. So when I was looking for a place for our girls to go to high school, Fountain Valley was literally the only boarding school that I was willing to consider for them. So.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Burton. Corinne, go for it.
Yeah, my name is Corrine Yee. I have been living in Colorado Springs for like 25 years. And I've lived abroad in Austria, where my husband is from. Our son Alexander is a senior here at Fountain Valley. Um, I'm a public school kid, so the idea of sending my child to a a private school was a little bit different for us, but we really embraced it when we found how much our son really loved the idea. And Fountain Valley is actually his dream school. So,
So, I mean, and either of you can start and just kind of jump in on this, but tell us a little bit about, your journey, your application journey, and the discovery journey, and then why eventually you ended up, or your child ended up choosing Fountain Valley in like a little bit more detail.
I can start if that's okay, Burton. Um, so when my son was in middle school, we spent a semester abroad in Vienna, Austria, and there he attended an international school, very small, people from all over the world. And when he came back, to Colorado Springs, he said, that's the kind of high school I want to attend, a small international school. I want a small learning experience as well, but it's really important that it's international. He also wanted to take Chinese for 4 years. His sister went to the public school here in Colorado Springs, so we already knew that experience, a very big school. She did really well there, but for him, he wanted something different. And so when we found Fountain Valley School and he saw the climbing gym, I think that was pretty much it. I think he was sold. Yep. That's how we came to Fountain Valley.
Cool. And before we get to Burton a little bit, I want Kelly to introduce herself. So, Kelly, we troubleshooted. It worked.
Yay! Yeah.
So you
Technology.
just, yeah, yeah,
Technology.
sometimes it beats us a little bit. If you just
Exactly.
want to introduce yourself a little bit,
Yeah.
tell about, being at the school, your connections, that'd be great.
Oh, that's perfect. I'm Kelly Cranis. I was Kelly Nevins when I went to Fountain Valley. I attended for 3 years. I graduated in 1989, and now my daughter goes there, and she's a 4-year senior. So, and she's graduating this year on her birthday, her 18th birthday. No. I had a lovely, wonderful time at Fountain Valley. Of course, it was the 80s. It was a totally different time. But what I can say is my daughter has really grown. But the best part of the story is how she got interested in Fountain Valley, which was during the pandemic, because I had my prom date, and we lived in the same area, and he came to my house almost every night, and he worked with me, and we had calls with people that we knew in all the different grades, and it was a way to keep people connected to the world and things like that. And my daughter listened to those, and she goes, I want to go to a place where I can have friends like this that are in all different grades. It's not just like one set of people, like it's a community of people that step up for each other. And it was the only school she applied to, and it was the only school she was going to go to. So that's why she really, really loves it so much. And as many people know, she's always the first one on campus every year on the start date. It's her thing. But happy to be here and meet everybody and answer any questions anybody has.
Thanks, Kelly. Appreciate it. So, Burton, why don't you kick off this next one here? So, why do you all, as a family, and your daughter and everybody, stay at Fountain Valley School? What keeps you all on campus and keeps you personally involved as you are too?
Well, I can say that Fountain Valley is a very tight-knit community, and it's very supportive and works hard to support everyone. And so my daughter is kind of an introvert. And so when she went to Fountain Valley and really started to make some really tight-knit friends, it became a huge thing for her. She flourished in the environment because of the fact that she feels safe, and it's where she can be herself. And that is something that's very unique in this world. And she treasures it, and we treasure it. And so I I see how much she loves the school, and I see how much she's grown at the school and continues to grow at the school. And so it inspires me to support the school and help the school and just continue to be a part of the school.
Great. And Corinne, why don't you, as a day parent, tell a little bit about the same, about why you all stay as opposed to like going to another private school, going to the local public school, like what really keeps you and Alex at the school?
Um, Thanks, Alex. I think the opportunities that keep coming during every year. So Alexander's been at Fountain Valley for 4 years, as I said earlier, and so every year there's something new and exciting to come, an opportunity to come. For example, he during his sophomore year, uh, he went on a round square exchange to Perth, Australia for 2 months and had some amazing experiences there. Or there's a group that goes to these different lectures around town, mostly at Colorado College here in town. Um, there are just all kinds of opportunities like that. In a larger school, he wouldn't have the happy experience of being, head of the peer tutoring group. Let me see what else I wrote down. Let's see. He's a day prefect. He's a member of the honors council. He's an admissions ambassador, so he helps out in the admissions office, which is a lot of fun. He's really enjoyed that. He's a student representative on these different panels that help to interview students for the school and also employees for the school. So he really loves that too. He leads the Dungeons and Dragons Club here on campus. He's a 2-year captain of the climbing and the lacrosse teams. That would never happen at a big school. You would never have that sort of opportunity. He's an honors student in science and math and AP Chinese, and he's working on a senior global studies program project in engineering. So that, and the global studies projects are really intense. But there's a teacher there, and there's only like 10 kids who do the global studies project their senior year. So it's very, I don't know, encompassing, and those opportunities I don't think we would have gotten anywhere else.
Yeah, there's a lot of options. There's a lot of things to get involved in. It sounds like
Right.
he's making the most of his time at the school. I
He
can't wait to
is.
see what he does in college and gets involved in there, because
Thank
anywhere
you.
he goes, let's see how much he gets involved with there. Kelly, same question.
I think the reason Logan loves it so much is the engagement she gets on so many different levels, in the sense that she's been a prefect before the word prefect was a prefix. She was an RA, and um, and for 3 years now, she's absolutely adored it, loved it. It's the fact that she can mentor younger people is interesting to her. She's a leader on campus, but my daughter is very athletic. And so she has lots of opportunities to try different things. She's a baseball and softball player. So the FES doesn't have that, but luckily the local high school does. So she's played on those teams. In fact, they won, was it regionals this year? So and then this year she kind of went out of the box and she's like, this is my last year. I want to try stuff. So she played basketball and she was amazing. And now she's playing soccer and has never played it before in her life. So and she was on swim team. I didn't even know she could really swim like that. So at one point, so it really has taken her out of her comfort zone. But really it is the things that she could do. She's in the Bahamas right now studying marine biology. Loving it. I'm getting pictures of her all sunburnt, and I think she said she jumped into a blue hole today. And they dissect animals every day, and and they go diving and snorkeling every day. And last year she was in Puerto Rico, in the rainforest, basically digging trenches and getting rid of non-indigenous plant species. So there's lots of things, but there's also the fun stuff, like day trips to go skiing, and making friends with day students and going to their houses and baking cookies. And so it's been a really interesting journey, in the fact that it's a big change to not be around your parents and kind of have to fend for yourselves. But I do think that the most amazing thing about it is she's completely prepared to go to college, and so far she's gotten into 7 out of 12 schools. We're still waiting on 4 more. And I think that is also really great, the fact that all these schools come to campus and talk to people. You don't always get those in large university or large, like, high schools and things like that, where you can really meet an admissions counselor and go, I really want to go to your school, and do it that way. So I think it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, thanks. And not to ignore, but we had somebody else join us here. So Miss Kira Walsh, who is in our admissions office and is also a alum of the school, has joined us here, which is going to relate to my next question, which I'm going to start with Burton, but I'm going to ask Kira to jump on and talk as well. So for those of you in the room who are alums, kind of what do you see as the biggest similarities and the biggest differences between your experience and now?
Well, the similarities, I'll start with the similarities. I think how tight-knit and supportive the community is has lived on, and I think it's been a part of Fountain Valley since when it started in 1930, and has continued on. Is that it's it's just like an island of support, and the fact that everybody knows each other and is supportive of each other, and that creates such a wonderful environment, like Kelly was just talking about, right? Where an environment where opportunities are there. There are so many opportunities. The hardest part sometimes is just deciding which one to go with, which is an amazing problem to have, right? Where, uh, but you feel empowered and you don't worry about failure, and you make these leaps and you try things out and you try things on, and that has been a part of what Fountain Valley has been since I attended the school, and it's just so great to see that it's just grown in the the offerings. The differences is that the school has more buildings than when I attended the school. It has this amazing $24 million gymnasium that we would have just died to have a part of. There's a community center in the center of campus where all the students congregate, and it even has its own little grill where they serve food to the students, on the weekends and in the evenings. They have the ability to congregate there and eat food and have fun. We didn't have things like that. And the dorms, there are more dorms, and the options and are much better. And they've renovated the dorms that have existed since 1930, and they've built more dorms since then. So I would say that the living conditions are better. The dining hall, which is where everybody eats, has been in existence, but when we attended there was a one or two options for you to eat, and we all had trays, and it was very much like a cafeteria, school cafeteria situation. And now it's this amazing dining experience where they have their own pizza oven and all sorts of different options, vegetarian, non-vegetarian, and just a variety of cuisines, Italian, Asian, Mexican. All of that was not what happened when I was at the school. So it's great to see that it's in my mind that school has just gotten better at all the things that it has, but it's kept the core, which makes it special, which is the people. The teachers really care. They are a part of the kids' lives, not only in the classroom, but on the athletics, and also just in there at nighttime and on the weekends. It's just all intertwined. And the reality is that everybody really cares. And that's very special.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's impossible to compare my experience as a student to being an employee. Those are two totally different experiences. But the difference is, I mean, so many things have remained the same from my perspective: the camaraderie on campus, the community, the faculty support. I think that the students now are participating in, or they've created this culture where there's more conversations around diversity and inclusion and equity, and they're politically engaged. And I think that's a difference between when I was a student and what it is like to be a teen in this world now. And I really appreciate their curiosity about the world and their investment in wanting to make it a better place. And uh, it's really cool to get to observe that as an adult in the community, and something that I'm so proud of them for committing to. I wish that that was more of a culture when I was a student here. But yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. Also, there's so many more weekend activities going on campus. There's like it's impossible to do all of the things in a weekend. We're going off campus, going bowling and going to Trader Joe's and going hiking and to the movies. And there's just so many things to be involved in. Going to the Fine Arts Center downtown. We went to Meow Wolf a few weeks ago in Denver. There's so many things. And then on campus, there's a festival or a dance hosted every weekend. So it's very entertaining to be a boarding student. And many of the day students actually come to campus to hang out and participate in all of the events that are happening. So that's just evolved as well.
Great. Thanks so much. So let's see. Let's start with Kelly on this one. So what was the toughest transition for you and or your student in them coming to Fountain Valley and coming to a boarding school?
Okay, I'm going to tell a story, but it happens to lots of kids. So I remember the day that we were the first one on campus for freshman year. Very excited. About 3 hours after I left, the what did I just do hit in. And I remember doing the same thing. I did the same thing. I'm an only kid, and I was like, what did I just do? Oh, like, oh, I don't know any of these people, and I'm on my own. And I remember she had a hard time for a few weeks. The school rallied around her like you wouldn't believe. The beauty of a lot of the upperclassmen really rallied around her because they did the same, had similar kids had the similar experiences. And the teachers knew and knew who had that and kind of, introduced them, and they follow, she walked around with them and all those things. And I was getting updates. So I was in communication. But the one thing that I did is I'm like, I'm not picking you up. And then within 2 weeks, it was like, I'm never leaving here, and now she doesn't she doesn't want anyone to come home. She wants to be down there. She loves it, so it's a matter of, for me as a parent, I was used to it and I understood what was going to happen because of the fact that I had done it. But I could understand if you're not used to having your child be away from you for long periods of time. This is practice for you for college too. You know what I mean? This is practice for everybody, So I think that there will be growing pains. Some people adapt immediately, and that's just because of their personalities and who they are. But some people take a little, getting used to. But I will tell you that the support system is there if you're trying a transition that you've never done before. And the support on both sides, because I mean, as a parent, you're worried and you're scared, but I knew she was in good hands and I knew she would get through it, and she did. And obviously she's 4 years, so I think it's something that you all have to like figure out how you're going to navigate it. But I also think you have to be honest about, we do have long weekends, so it's not like you're not going to see them until Christmas. You're going to drop her off, or he or she off, or they off in August and not see them until December. It doesn't work that way. There's long weekends that they can come home, or you can come visit. Fountain Valley is not a place where you you can show up whenever you want. You're their parent. You can go have lunch with them. You can come spend a weekend and take them off campus. So there are ways for you to stay close with your child. And it's not just like, okay, they're there and that's it. And so I think it's all what you make out of it.
And Corinne, what about coming from a day side? Kind of what was the hardest transition for you all as a family, for Alexander?
For us, I think it was a little bit different. He played AAA club sport, ice hockey for 2 years, his first 2 years during Fountain Valley. So he missed a lot of school. But in that time, he learned how to manage his time with sports and classes very, very well. That really surprised me, but it was a tough transition. And then it's funny when Alexander was first planning to go to Fountain Valley, a lot of parents were saying locally, like, "Oh, you're going to drive to Fountain Valley every day?" And it's like, no, there's a bus. And a lot of people don't know that there are buses that go to different parts, down to Pueblo. We're the farthest north, which is North Colorado Springs, and then out west, I think, right? Yeah. So there are buses that, will take the local students to and from school. It makes for longer days, but my son rests on the bus going there, has breakfast number 2 there, lunch and dinner there, comes home and eats second dinner at home. So, it's a really great experience for that, because, he just sort of has some downtime on the bus. But I think it's the time management was probably the toughest part with a club sport that's off campus.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I mean, and there's, like you mentioned before, and we talked about, there's so much going on, and the students get there, 8-ish, have breakfast, go through a whole day. Then there's activities 3:30 to 5:30, and then there's dinner. And then if they're stay on, whether they're day student or boarding student, there's study hall. That takes you till 9 p.m. They're long days. So I think definitely that taking time for students to rest, to rejuvenate a little bit, to figure out how they organize and everything. And from a day student side, you are 100% correct about the bus issue, is that we often have to tell people we have buses and where they come from. But from somebody who came from the East Coast, like that prepares you for all the commuting you're ever going to have to do in your life. Because I used to take a bus, a train, a ferry, depending on the day, several hours each way. And, I know in the West, we think 15 minutes is a long way, but it's not. It's definitely not. But it's good experience again for students to kind of get that and get that organized and figure out how to use your time, that sort of thing. So, Burton, I want to ask you first, what do your students talk about the most about Fountain Valley? What do they talk to you the most? Assuming kids actually talk to their parents.
I think it's they talk about their friends a lot, and how and it's amazing to hear how tight knit and concerned and supportive they are of each other. When I call Brianna on the phone, I am guaranteed to hear laughter, and it's just brings such joy to my heart to know that she has such special friends, and they are even though they won't admit it a lot of the time, if you just watch and listen, you can tell that they are having a great time most of the time. And it's just, and that's just, it's huge, right? At the end of the day, we have to ask open-ended questions about school and specific questions about classes and all that kind of stuff. But when it comes to the friends and what they're doing together and what they've been doing and all that kind of stuff, it's like da, 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 da. So yeah, that's definitely what I hear the most about.
Kelly, you want to take a crack at that one too?
I do hear about friends. I'm on video with lots of them almost every morning. I would even venture to say I've gained more children. I woke it up and look at what we're doing today. Here's the sunrise. We're sitting on a bench and we're all together. But another thing that we get a lot is we hear about the teachers. We do hear about how one instance I can give was basketball this year almost didn't happen. And our daughters, Brianna and Logan, rallied together to create a team because they love their teachers so much. And the teachers wanted to do it so badly that they made sure that they had enough people to have a team. And I think that shows a lot of integrity and community on how it wasn't just about the kids, it was about not letting down the teachers. And I think that's pretty amazing because you normally don't get that. I mean, nobody's going, I'm going to go do this because, I don't want to make him mad. It's just, or I want to make them happy. You don't really hear that, in a high school setting. So, and that happens a lot. I hear it, oh, we're doing this and they're so excited about it and all these things. So they, our daughters have some really close relationships with the adults and the faculty and the advisors and people on campus. And I think that's really great because that is something they're learning how to communicate with adults and not be scared, because you're going to have to communicate in college, and it's going to even have a bigger distance of communication, because you don't live with your professors. but now they're trained to do it. They're learned to do it, and they know that these people that are teaching them, they're not scary. They're there to help you, and I think you get that at FES. You understand that when you leave.
Yeah, that idea of self-advocacy and being able to ask people questions and not being afraid of it, that is a huge thing that, I would hope that by the end of Fountain Valley that all our students have. So talking about by the end of Fountain Valley, we have two people here who are going to have kids who are graduating. So I want to talk a little bit about the college selection process, how that kind of gone, how Mr. Kirkman and Miss Green have sort of been integral in that whole process. So whoever wants to jump into that first, go for it. Yeah, go, Corinne? Okay.
Sure, I'll go first. So this is our second child, our last child. So his sister had an amazing experience in high school, but it was a really big high school. She took a gap year and then she was recruited to her dream Ivy school. So she just finished. But it was a really stressful process, and it's for everybody unless you decide to go to your local school around the corner. It's college selection is kind of stressful for everyone, but this college experience has also been amazing. I feel Mr. Kurtzman and my son are actually, um, they really click well together. I mean, and Vicky Foster in that office too. I mean, everybody is amazing in there. We felt really supported. I do have to say, public school versus private school, we got way more support from the office than from our daughter's public high school, where we had to do most of the work. Our son seemed to have just a better idea of what he wanted, and where he wanted to apply, because she applied to a ton of schools and he applied to maybe, I don't know, 6 or something, so half of what she decided to do. So, yeah, I think that's probably all I want to say. It's been amazing. I was really surprised. Yeah, happily surprised. And it's more about the good fit. It's not really about everybody needs to go to MIT and Princeton and Harvard. I mean, that's just not going to happen.
No.
So it's about the right fit for your child. And all the alums I've met who've gone all over the world with Fountain Valley, they seem to have found the right college for them and are very happy. So that's, their life's happiness shows through in the college choices that they made. So yeah.
I'm kind of in this similar situation. I have an older son who was in public high school during COVID. So much fun. So it was even worse. And it was very little help. We pretty much did everything on our own, and went to KU, and he'll be graduating. But then now with this one, this has been different because Logan, when you have a child that might not know what they want to do, because, it's not that there's just so many choices out there. You want to you want to learn what you want to do and decide what you want to do. So looking at liberal arts, obviously, 12 schools, lots, and that's a lot of financial aid stuff, but and a lot of, but it's she's gone all over the map. I know I saw a question in the chat about different schools, and I'm happy to share. She applied to Gonzaga, which is a Jesuit, medium-sized private school, all the way up to Colby, to Furman, to Occidental. She got into Drexel. She got into Lewis and Clark yesterday. She got into Endicott, So and she got into her safeties, Colorado State and Boulder. So, and she's got 4 more to go. So we're waiting to see, the world is your oyster. And that's kind of what they told her when, you have to figure out the right fit for you. And so now we're going on college trips. We're going to Gonzaga on Sunday, and we're going to go look at it, and but it's a matter of they've really been really great with helping me with financial aid. A lot of, merit scholarships. They really prepare working with their essays. I mean, they really work hard directly with each individual student that's going into college. Like, how do you want to portray yourself? What do you want to say? It's not literally go write this and just pop it in, but they also are really good at kind of buffering for the parents. Because you might have a kid, I want to go to Harvard. Well, Harvard has a really big price tag, and they help with some of those hard questions of, yes, you could probably get into Harvard, but can your family afford it? How can we do that? And having hard questions at a really kind of stressful time. So I think they help on many levels. But the difference between a public and a private, you can't even equate. It doesn't even.
And Bert, now you have someone who's just starting it. So have you all started that conversation? I know the
Oh
juniors
yeah.
started meeting with the college counselors in a robust way starting in January.
Yeah, that's correct, and that's part of what I wanted to talk about is that the process is it's not a short process at Fountain Valley. I mean, it really starts mid in January of junior year, and it rolls through, and that I think that's awesome because of the fact that it really gives the kids time to think about things, work on their essays, not to be rushed because especially teenagers, a lot of their normal thing is to wait until the last minute and rush and make all these decisions that are not necessarily well informed. And that's not the case at Fountain Valley. They do a good job of understanding the process, explaining the process to the kids, and also giving them questions and guiding them on what should you be thinking about the college you want to go to, like what are and give them questions to ponder so they know where to start, because that process and just to say the process now versus when I went to the school, it has improved immensely, and I'm so impressed with the amount of time, the amount of effort they put into it, and really guiding the kids and giving them questions, like I said, to ponder and understand what they're really looking for, because a lot of them don't know until they really start to sit down and think about it, and it's not something you can decide in a week. And so it's great that it takes time. They have time. They have meetings constant, throughout the year, to really get them ready. And also, from what I understand, there's going to be things that they're going to need to be working on over the summer, and just be prepared and be ready to go ahead of time versus just in time. And I think that's immense for the children and also the parents, because it just helps the process be much more methodical and intentional.
Yeah, and from what I understand too, from talking to the college counseling office, they want to make sure that the student knows their options, which takes time to explore and look into it. And also just from the school standpoint as well, like our college counselors are also working with our faculty on how to write recommendation letters and things like that too. So we're also doing it on our side, on the internal side, as well as what they're actually working with the students. So as we get towards the end here, it's been a fast 45 minutes. But as we get to the end, I'm going to ask each one of you the same question, so we can just ping it around. We'll start with Kareen. So what one piece of advice can you give an incoming or prospective family?
So just one piece of advice, right? At least I'm just joking.
You can, layer it in there if you like. I'm cool with
That's
that.
fine. Like I just want to say that each child is so different. What fits one might not fit the other, and to be open to those new experiences that a place like Fountain Valley has to offer. Support your child by allowing them to try different classes and activities, and help them with their journey. It's their journey, not yours. It is, partially yours too, but it's really their journey. So if you help them find their dreams, they'll be really, really happy people. That's what we found in our family.
Let's see whoever else wants to go. Kelly, you want to go?
I'll
All
go
right.
next. I would say through the admission process, let your kid be who they are. Don't try to make them something they're not so that they can get into a school. Let them be who they are. Let them shine. Let them, it's not, this is their journey, you know, and listen to them if, you know, and if you write an essay for them, then you're attending Fountain Valley. You know what I mean? It's not them. I honestly, I never read anything that Logan wrote to get into Fountain Valley. She asked me not to, and I didn't. Um, but it worked. And I will say, she is exactly who she is when you meet her. And Corinne, everybody knows this is Logan, and everybody goes, Logan. Everybody knows her. She's goofy, and she gets to be goofy, and it's okay. You know, it's a place where you get to be who you really want to be, and nobody judges you. And I think that's the beauty of it. Because guess what? There's probably somebody just like you there too. And even in a small microcosm, you will find your group. So everybody has one. So I say just let them be their authentic self through the whole process, and encourage them to do that at school too.
Yeah, I think along that is the line. I would encourage them to really be involved in the process and communicate, not only and have open conversations with them, but also help them understand that, you know, the more they can be themselves for the different schools they visit, and ask good questions, and ask questions they really want to ask, and like Kelly was saying, be themselves, but just be engaged, right? And encourage the kids to be engaged, and give them the space and support so they can do that.
Great. Fantastic. Is there anything else anyone who wants to chime in and ping in as a last sentence or two before we close out here? I know it's a big ask. Just a random question at the end is always good. Well, thank you very much to the panelists. We really appreciate your time. Thank you to everyone who attended. I was on the back end answering Q&A questions via typing. So hopefully everyone who asked those, make sure you look at the answers that I was typing there so you can see what it is before we end this session. But again, thank you for taking time of your evening. Parents, it was great. Best of luck to those of you who have graduating seniors. And Burton, obviously, will see you around next year with your students as well. But hopefully, Kelly and Corinne will see you around campus as well. So thanks so much. Hopefully, this has been, we really appreciate it. Have a great evening. Bye.